This video is brought to you by Skillshare. So up, ladies and gentlemen, Akalon here, and welcome back to each one of it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining us. I am very happy to have you here. Of course, in today's video, we're looking at World of Warcraft Reborn, and I'm going to try and show you that every tool Blizzard needs in order to bring out a fresh, brand new expansion that's going to have something for everyone already exists in the game. So we're going to get into that in a minute. Now, because we value your time, you will find links in the description down below, timestamps to the timeline. If you want to skip over certain things, you feel I talk too slow, or you already caught the gist of what I was saying, you're welcome to skip to a different chapter, and hopefully this will save you a lot of time, because I know how short on time we all are. I would suggest that you watch the whole video so that you get exactly what I'm talking about, and you don't miss anything important. But then again, it's your life, you can do whatever the hell you want. Also remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, it helps out the channel a ton. Also leave a comment, you can join the live discussion, link to Twitch is in the description down below. And finally, most importantly, thank you so much to all of the patrons for making videos like this one possible, for allowing me to sort of explore my own creativity, allow me to put out videos that ordinarily, traditionally does not do that well on the channel, but it's still stuff that I really care about because I love World of Warcraft and I really want World of Warcraft to be great. So thank you so much to all of the patrons, and with that said, let's jump into the video. The current state of World of Warcraft. It should come as no surprise that World of Warcraft is not in the best of states right now. I just recently did a poll over on my channel, and I do these polls quite often. 68% of players either still play 9.1, and that's about 6% of the player base, still play 9.1, but they only raid log. 19% of players said that they did play 9.1, but they have already quit and unsubbed from the game. And 43% of everyone that voted said, I didn't even try it. That's not good. 68% of the player base feels that 9.1 does not have the content to keep them in the game. That is not a good thing. So how exactly did we get here? What led to this? Well, first and foremost, we all constantly hear this argument, systems upon systems. But what does it mean? What does it mean when someone says that the game is far too cluttered and there's too many systems? Well, it has an inherent problem to it. The more systems you have, naturally the more content you would have to produce for each of those systems to feel as if they have something to offer the player base. Now, if you're already dealing with crunch, you're already dealing with a global pandemic that basically hampers your ability to design the game, it stands to reason that with more systems to the game, you are ultimately going to be incapable of producing enough content for each of these systems to, actually make those systems feel good. Now, if you think in terms of World of Warcraft, you have things like raiding, you have things like dungeons, you have things like world quests, you have the covenants, 4 of them, each that require its own story. You now have Corphia, you have Torghast, you have pets, you have mounts, you have cosmetics, you have the Domination runes. All of these systems require content. You can't just have a system with no content to it. So what happens when you're running out of time and you simply can't design enough content? Well, then you have to go, all right, we'll give each of these systems a little bit of content, just enough so that there is new content, something that we can market and say, brand new Torghast, brand new raid, brand new dungeon, although brand new Mythic Plus system, right? So at the end of the day, you have, yes, new content, but it's not enough to keep people there. So what is the natural result of all of this? Timegating. Sadly, when you have so many systems that require content and you don't have enough content to actually design for all of these systems, the natural response is timegating. Now, there is a financial incentive, and that financial incentive isn't hard to notice. For example, why does Blizzard have every single raid opening up on LFR in wings? Well, if you take the wings, the first week does not give you any wing. This is usually when most people will sub to the game because they want to get the new patch content. This means that in week 2, you finally get the first wing opening. Most of the raids have 4 wings, which means that if people want to continue the raid and actually finish it, especially the casual audience, they will be forced to sub a second month. Now, that's speculation. Maybe that's not even something that Blizzard thinks about. But at the end of the day, timegating, the main reason behind timegating, isn't so much, in my opinion, money or monetary. It's more a case of there just isn't enough. If Blizzard allowed for people to play through Korthia with zero timegating, people would finish Korthia within 3 hours. Literally everything that there is to finish in Korthia would be done within 3 hours. So what are they going to do for the rest of the expansion? It would expose the fact that there is no content. So instead, what Blizzard does is they design the story to be released in a time-gated manner once every week, about 20 minutes worth of story. And for the rest of the week, you do what we would call busy work. You do things that is just the same gameplay loop over and over again. And that is not content. As much as people would like to pretend that it's content, it isn't content. The things that is in Korthia is content for the first week. Then you've experienced everything that there is to experience. From that moment forward, it becomes a grind to a certain goal. So people want all of the mounts that they could possibly get from Torghast. Whilst there are people that like that, for the vast majority of people, it is simply to take another number off of their mount collection. They're never going to use those mounts. It simply sits in their bags because many of those mounts is recolors of mounts that they already have. So at the end of the day, when you have all of these systems, it ends with a game that simply cannot and will never be able to provide players with enough content to keep them busy for even a week, which is by now, I think, specifically after 9.0, if you combine all of the content that launched in 9.0 with the Covenants, you maybe get enough content to keep you busy for 2 or 3 days. After that, it is the same gameplay loop over and over and over again. You know what isn't time-gated? That's right, our sponsor and also our transition to our sponsor, Skillshare. A massive thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Do you find yourself out of your depth? You have so many hobbies but no time to actually research them? Then join Skillshare today and take a journey alongside millions of others. Skillshare takes all the hassle out of learning with classes designed to optimize learning. Every class is curated so you do not waste your time and none of the presenters speak as slow as I do. I promise. So really, you have nothing to lose. I've been wanting to get into DSLR cameras for a while now as a way to make the video quality even better. The issue is, I know nothing about DSLR cameras or photography. So I found a class called Fundamentals of DSLR Photography by Justin Bridges. In it, he explains how DSLR cameras work, how to set up a shoot, understanding ISO. By the way, I didn't even know what that meant before watching the video, studio photography, and exactly how exposure works. It's easy to understand, as with all of their classes, so be it photography, personal or professional scheduling, or even gardening, there is a class for you at Skillshare. In fact, Skillshare is so certain in their product's quality that they have decided to offer the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description down below a free 1-month premium subscription to Skillshare. Click the link in the description down below, you'll help yourself and you'll help the channel. What do you have to lose? Now that we know why these expansions or these systems is such a big problem, let's talk about the word expansions. What does it mean? Well, it means to expand upon existing content, to expand upon an existing idea. So we take an existing idea or content and we add more to it. I think everyone watching this video right now can agree that this is not what happens in World of Warcraft. An expansion is not the expansion of the game, it's rather the subtraction of everything that came before and the addition of something brand new. So if anything, World of Warcraft should not, or their expansions should not be called expansions because they're not. Considering everything that we lose when a new expansion is released, it should be called subtraction because we are subtracting. Not only are we subtracting from the physical content within the game, we're subtracting from power levels, we're subtracting from systems that people actually enjoy. Think about the jump from Legion to BFA. People lost the artifact weapon that they absolutely loved. Instead, they gained a new system that was a shadow of the one that came before it. So really, when Blizzard calls their new games expansions, it's a misnomer. It's not actually an expansion, it is a subtraction. And with every expansion, the subtraction side of World of Warcraft actually gains momentum. More and more is subtracted from the game. But it doesn't have to be that way. Now you might be saying, Akalon, okay, you've offered a lot of problems and you've offered a lot of criticism now, but where is the solution? And the answer is that the solution is right in front of us all. It's right in front of Blizzard. They have created, over the course of time, some of the most immaculate systems in the game, things that people truly loved, things that could so easily be brought into a new expansion and could be updated every single expansion to simply expand on the content that is already there. So let's take a look at some of these systems. System number 1. The farms in Mist of Pandaria. So many people loved the farm, loved the fact that the farm in some way actually linked up with some of your professions, and I see no reason why the farms can't link up with even more. Why the professions can't be included in the farm. So for example, let's expand the farm past just planting ingredients. And when I say planting ingredients, I do mean out into the world. I mean connect the farm to the world. Instead of people just being able to buy seeds, they have to go into the world and collect the ingredients that they wish to plant. But how about we expand it even further? How about we say that people could go capture animals and put the animals in their farms? What if Blizzard allowed for people to move their farm from Mist of Pandaria to anywhere in the world, with set locations in every zone that would simply show the new farm in that area? And every single expansion, you have a team of people whose only job is to ensure that the farm keeps getting upgraded. So you take things that have worked in the past and you simply update them for the future. Now let's take something like Garrisons. Garrisons was very hit and miss. In fact, more miss than hit. But then you had class order rolls and people actually loved them. So what if we took Garrisons and class order rolls and actually combined them? What if every expansion, every single class had a unique storyline that was crafted for them specifically? A storyline that is made by the developers of the new class order rolls. So class order rolls are always updated. They always give players a very unique sense of feel, with maybe a unique look, cosmetic items and stuff that can be recovered. And then you combine it with something like the Garrison system, where people can choose maybe between 3 different slots and 6 or 7 different buildings that they can put up in their class order roll to make their class order roll feel a little bit more personal. Now personally, I would love if Garrison became housing, like full-blown housing, and not with all of the downsides of Garrisons, but an actual housing system. But if we imagined in a world where Blizzard refuses to give us housing, this would still be a very good route to go by. Next, we can look at the Mage Tower. The Mage Tower, in many ways, is what Torghast should have been. Torghast, in many ways, failed completely, because what people wanted is the cosmetic-only nature of the Mage Tower. The fact that I'm not forced to go into the Mage Tower, but I want to be there, because I want to unlock the cosmetic there. I want the challenge, and I want to be able to show people I weathered this challenge and I won. So why can't Torghast be that? Why not merge Torghast and the Mage Tower? Make Torghast hard, but only cosmetic. Do not tie player power to it. It is a challenge, and it is something that you do to get mounts, to get pets, to get items, but none of those items are for power levels. They are simply there to have fun with it. They're simply there to make you look really cool and to stand tall knowing that you've defeated the boss on floor number 50 that almost no one in your guild could do. So you have the right to be Mr. Big Dick. And you want to know what's even more with all of these systems? Fuck, I could bring the Brawlers Guild into this. The Brawlers Guild, could have taken bosses from every other raid in the game. Imagine fighting Arthas in the Brawlers Guild and having to figure out how to defeat this guy in the Brawlers Guild, allowing for a talent tree. And talent trees, by the way, is another thing that could tie into every single one of these systems. A talent tree that exists purely for your farming needs, a talent tree that exists purely for your garrisons and your class order rolls and these things that is now brought forward, and your ability to actually make yourself better within these functions or within these systems. And these won't necessarily impact your game in the real world. So if you have a talent, for example, that makes your guard hardening faster. That's not going to help you in a raid, but it is going to help you if you're a herb gatherer. And now you can gather herbs that yield twice the amount of results because you have a farm and your farm is well and truly leveled up. All of these things are things that Blizzard can make, which would become mini games within the game that provide the casual audience with a hell of a lot of fun. Let's take this further. Let's look beyond the casual audience. Let's look to the audience, the hardcore people. There are raids and dungeons within World of Warcraft that were absolutely astounding. I think of raids and dungeons like Ulduar, like ICC, like Firelands, places like Karazhan. Dungeons that people truly loved, raid instances that people truly loved. Bring those back as extreme difficulties. And I'm not talking about time walking. Time walking is a joke. I'm saying you take Arthas and ICC and you level it up to mythic level today. In other words, these are challenging bosses. They were updated, their abilities hit a fuck ton harder. They are now brand new raids, brand new challenges, and you don't even have to offer gear from these dungeons or raids. You can literally keep it cosmetic only. So you add new cosmetic items to these things that bring the old world back into focus. What do you have to lose? All of these things already exist. There is an absolute treasure trove of dungeons and raids in World of Warcraft literally sitting there waiting to be used. And yet all of these systems are continuously discarded with the launch of a new expansion, rather than updated and kept up to date and allowing players to play the game the way that they want to play it. Blizzard, you don't have to reinvent the wheel with every single expansion. Simply add new wheels. I do apologize for the fact that this video got away from me a little bit. I spoke way too much in the last section of the video, so my sincerest apologies for that. But in conclusion, Blizzard does not have to come up with brand new systems every single expansion. If they use the systems that they already have in the game and they adapt them to the modern world and they keep teams working on that, so you have a single team that works for 2 years on farms, you have a single team that works for 2 years on bringing all dungeons and raids back into the game as cosmetic only, hyped bragging right raids and dungeons. You have specific teams that work on the class order halls for 2 years. You will have expansions so jam-packed with new content every single time that you wouldn't even need time gating. And then you could have it where every expansion offers a singular new long-term feature. So rather than looking at features and going, right, this is only for this expansion, you start looking at features that has longevity to it. That would be my perfect wish list for World of Warcraft. And if you agree with me, then of course remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and smash that bell. And of course, if you disagree with me, you can hit the dislike button twice. You can also let me know in the comment section if you feel that I missed something, and maybe I did. It's almost certain that I did, and that you, the community, will be able to think of things far better than what I could ever think of them. I simply want to give you the tools to start the conversation. Then of course, all of the patrons, thank you so much for making videos like this one possible. When I know that these videos aren't going to do as well on the channel, it still gives me a lot of hope and a lot of love for all of you for allowing me to do the content that I absolutely love doing, because I like speculating even on the systems within World of Warcraft, and you make that possible. If you want to join the revolution, you want to get free podcasts, well, not free podcasts, but you want to get podcasts, you want to get behind the scenes videos, you want to get early access to some of the videos on the channel, then click the link in the description down below and join us over on Patreon. And then to all of the Twitch subs and the YouTube channel members, thank you so much for your monthly contributions. It does mean the world to me. Thanks to you, this channel is still growing, and it's growing stronger every single day. I quite literally wouldn't be without you, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Guys, it was my name is Akalon, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace out, fam.